but it's funny because from that came that solid belief that you cannot rely on anybody else to tell you how good you are or how amazing you are, because that was his superpower. It was like every day is like, oh my God, you go power woman, you're amazing, you're incredible, you're fantastic. And every day I'd race to my phone to get my message, to get that validation from this person. And all of a sudden one day it was gone, just like that, out the window, just no more. And I was told, like, no more private messages. You're not allowed to message me. You're not allowed to do this. And I was like, what do you do? Like, you've had all of this, like someone pumping you up all this time, and all of a sudden this person is gone. And the only person left there is yourself.
Talking with the experts.
Hello and welcome to Talking with the Experts. My name's Rose Davidson from rosedavidson.com, and Talking with the Experts is about all things business by business owners for business owners, and you can find it on all good podcasting streaming platforms and on YouTube. And today my guest is Maini Homer, and Maini business is called Copywriters International, and we'll be talking about internal validation, self-belief and self-confidence. And Maini is the queen of content creation and has been in business for herself for over 23 years. And in that time, she has built 13 successful businesses from scratch, and usually with no money down. Wow, that's awesome. Another awesome feat is her #1 international best-selling book in 3 countries and 3 categories, Lockdown Took My Income. This book was written in under 24 hours at the start of the pandemic and is a 9-step blueprint to create your own income stream from scratch. Well, I won't go any further. I'll let you tell us a little bit more, Maini. Welcome. Thank you for joining me.
And thank you so much for having me, Rose. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Yes. Wow. 13 businesses from scratch. That's amazing.
Yeah, it just seems to be my superpower. It's usually they start because I don't want to pay for a certain product, or I want to create something amazing, and I just run with the idea. I'm also known as the action queen, so I just get in there and I just do, and I make epic shit happen. I'm saying it.
Yep. So your latest venture is it's called Copywriters International, which is how I introduced you, and it was only born last October, and after recording a video series, creating an income from scratch. Wow.
Yeah.
So how's it going?
Oh, I've got 16 staff on board. I am probably 2 steps away from financial freedom. So I would say it's going pretty well, actually.
Well done. That's what we're all looking for, is that bit of financial freedom.
Absolutely. It's obviously been a goal of mine. I've had it before, been there before, got bored, went and played again, as you do. Lost a few things, had to get a few things back, the usual journey you go on.
Hey. Yes. So your book is like in 3 countries. That's amazing for #1.
Yeah, I know. It totally blew me away. It was, I remember my kids were in lockdown at the time, actually. And so they were my lighting crew and my stage crew, and they got right involved in the launch party. And I remember having a conversation with them afterwards. I said, look, now don't worry if we don't make the top 100, because at least we've got a starting point and we know where we're going. And then that night, my publisher messaged, and she just messaged me a #2. And I looked at it, and then she messaged, she says, no way, #1 in 3 countries and in 3 categories. And I was like, no way. Yeah.
Well done. Well done. So to explain to me a little bit more about internal validation, self-belief and self-confidence. How do you have it, and how can others find it?
Okay, well, look, I'm like an open book. I see the journey that I've been on, having been one, so that I can help other people go through the same, probably a lot quicker than what I went through, because, you know, I spent the first 20 years of my business life not believing in myself and not knowing not having any self-worth, not having any self-confidence, and certainly not having any self-belief. And even though I was able to create these businesses and make successes of them, I would do really strange things. I would either, like, you know, I'd lose interest in them. I would deliberately self-sabotage them sometimes so that they fell over, or I just stopped working them so that they just sort of, like, you know, went away. And even though I sold a couple and I made some amazing profits, and one of my businesses I had for 14 years, like right the way through, there was always that lack of self-belief, that lack of belief that I could actually do it, and that I wasn't just faking it, or, you know, I wasn't a big fat fraud, basically. Do you know what I mean? Because I didn't grow up in a family where I was taught those skills, the self-confidence, the self-worth. I wasn't brought up in that kind of environment. And so there was no one to teach these vital skills. And when I say skills, that's all they actually are. They're just skills. There was no one to teach me these skills. And so it's something that I had to learn myself. And it's only since I learned the self-belief, and the big one being internal validation, it's only once I grasped the fact that it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. It really doesn't. The only person's opinion that actually matters is yours. Have I been able to, A, put out a #1 international best-selling book, because I can tell you I would never have done that before, and B, done a video series from that, because I wanted to prove to people that if they used my book and they followed the system, it could work for them as well. And see, end up where I am now, where I'm now back to one step away from financial freedom. The difference this time is that I recognize that I'm that close. I recognize that I'm there, and I have the confidence now to push through to get what I've truly always wanted.
Yeah, I grew up in a environment too that those skills weren't taught to me either.
No.
It was just push, 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 push. And if you're not #1, you know, you're not good enough. And you're, you know, absolutely told that you just weren't good enough if you didn't come first in whatever endeavor you were doing.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm. But
that
nobody
was
taught
really
you
difficult.
how. Yeah, nobody taught you how to be good enough. You know, they just told you weren't if you didn't make it. That's the thing.
That's it. Yeah, and it's really difficult, you know, when you grow up with those beliefs, and you do become successful. I mean, I was successful in other people's eyes, but not in my own.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And that I never believed that, you know, I was doing something amazing. And, you know, I've got people around me that tell me I'm totally amazing, and they wish they were like me. And I think, you know, you're crazy. Honestly, I so envy them. So, you know, I think they're more wonderful than me. So how do we foster, and how do we teach people these skills?
Well, I think the #1 thing is for people to recognize that they have these issues. A lot of people are too afraid to come out and say, you know what, I don't believe in myself, because they feel like there's some shame around that. They feel like there's shame around the not believing in themselves, not being confident. I mean, you see it in the people that I speak to. They say, oh, you know, I'm not very confident. It's like it's this huge thing that's wrong with them, but it's just like a skill. And this is what I think, once you realize that it's just a skill set, it's no different to, like, if you wanted to go and learn how to bake a cake properly, you'd go to a cake baking class. All right. If you wanted to learn how to sew or whatever, you go to the specific class to learn the skills. This is actually no different. And I think when, you know, people realize that it's just a set of skills that they need to get, I think that takes that pressure off to start with. I think so many people are tied up believing that, you know, oh, you know, I'll never be good enough, and, you know, why should I even attempt things, because, you know, what will mum say, or what will my husband say, or what will, you know, the gossip down the road have to say, you know, what if I fail, you know?
God forbid.
Yes. Yeah. And so what this actually does, it actually stops a lot of people in their tracks, and it keeps people stuck in a mediocre life, and they never ever get to do the things that they truly want to do in life because they have that fear around failure. They have that fear around what other people will think, and that's what stops many people from being able to achieve what it is that they had the potential to achieve in their lives. And so when you know it's just a skill set, it kind of takes that pressure of performing off it. And you can just secretly go away. You don't have to tell anybody. There's courses out there. I did mine through NLP, Neuro Linguistic Programming, which is just, it basically changes all of your thoughts, your unconscious mind. And nobody actually even needs to know that you're going and doing the work. You can just go away and get it done. Do you know what I mean? And that's when you start, once you change those thoughts that are in your mind, that's when you can really start to go out there and take the action you need to take to go and get the results that you want.
Yeah, I love NLP. I liked timeline therapy. That's really amazing.
Oh, isn't it? It's incredible. Like, that's such a powerful tool. And once you've experienced that, once you know, I mean, I've done that much timeline therapy, seriously. Like, I can actually go into a past life when I was a Navajo Indian chief, believe it or not. And when I go in there in the timeline, the black hair actually drops down. I see it.
Oh,
actually see the hair drop down. It is an amazing experience, for those that don't believe in past lives, then maybe it's just what your unconscious mind chooses to bring up. But it's funny that I go back to that time every time, and the hair just drops down, and it's incredible. It's such an amazing experience.
No, I haven't got back to the past lives yet, but I've only had it done about 3 times, so I've only gone back to my childhood, but I haven't gone back any further than that. But
yeah, I guess it depends on how deep you want to go. I mean, it's the stuff is there. Even if it's passed down from generations, I mean, maybe it could just be my mind, putting it there. It might have been like a great grandmother that had dark hair. I don't know. But see, the thing is, there's a lot of stuff that's actually passed down by a generation, because what your mother feels when you're in the womb is passed to you. So if she has certain fears about things, it's going to be passed down to the child, and vice versa. And that makes common sense. That's just common sense that can happen.
I guess, yeah. So as a business owner, I mean, I know we all think of business owners as being, very capable and very knowledgeable and, have it all together and stuff. But if they don't have all this self-belief in themselves, how can they, I guess, turn that around to get that self-belief? Because I don't think that you can have a successful business if you don't believe in yourself.
Look, I have to agree with you there. And even the greats like Tony Robbins, who's one of my biggest idols, he turns around and says that, success is 20% mechanics and 80% mindset. And so what he means by that is just, you might know what you're doing in business, but if you don't have that confidence and you don't have that belief in yourself, then your unconscious mind won't allow you to be successful. And so I think what's important for many people is, if they want to be successful in business, is first of all to recognize the fact that, maybe they actually do need some help. Maybe, just maybe, they don't have all of the skills that they need with their mindset to be able to go out and create a successful business. And it's the ones that actually, step up and say, do you know what? I deserve this. I deserve to be able to be successful in my life. So if that means I have to go and work with somebody, and I don't coach people anymore, that's not even what I do anymore. So this is all just, advice I'm giving here. If I need to go talk to somebody who can help me build the skills of self-belief and self-worth, then I'm going to go and do it, because they're the ones that are going to be successful. So what it takes, Rose, is it takes somebody to decide, to make that decision that, do you know what? Maybe I don't know it all, and maybe I could just go and get some help, and then I would. And then I would be successful, because it really is just skills you just need to go and get if you want to be successful.
Yeah, so I guess where did you find your, your self-belief, your self-worth, your internal validation? Where did you, find it?
Well, I mean, I think every one of us is on a journey in life, and I believe fully that when when you have a mission in life, when you have a goal in life, even if you don't consciously know what that is, the universe has your back. And I believe your entire life is a complete layout plan, regardless of what anyone says. I think, like, it's all set out, and you get pushed in certain directions. People get drawn into your life at certain times. And so, even though you may not be consciously aware of why things are happening, if you've got a goal, which is financial freedom, for example, or, sitting on tropical beach with a pina colada, okay, the universe conspires to make that happen. Now, for me, my journey was I did an NLP training course in Sydney, but I can tell you firsthand, I walked into that room kicking and screaming. Okay, I did not want to be there. I thought the trainer was the biggest idiot that ever walked the face of the earth. I walked in there cross-armed. It was like I was not budging, baby. You were not going to get in my head, and that's what I walked in. I'd gone in because a friend of mine at the time refused to let me say no. And this friend, I can remember the phone call now, for half an hour, he was on the phone going, Maini, pick up the phone. Maini, pick up the phone. I am not getting off the phone until you tell me you're going to pick up the phone. And it's like, fine, I'll pick up the phone. But, so it was a journey I went on. And honestly, like, once I realized what it was, once I saw what it was and I realized what could be achieved, it was like I couldn't get enough. I did my prac, I did my master prac, I went back and did hypnosis. I did all of the trainings with this trainer because I could see the value and I could see the growth that I was having pretty much from word go. It didn't happen overnight. It was something that took time. It was something that had to be all part of my journey, and even my self-validation, which is what we're pretty much covering today, only came through quite a traumatic experience. After I'd done my training, not going into much details, but I had a major loss in my life. I lost somebody who was extremely important to me, someone I looked up to, somebody that, was a role model for me. And this person, for whatever reason, just got tired of me and just basically threw me away, just tossed me out. And to this day, I still am at a loss as to why that happened. We had a great friendship, and to me, it was just friendship. There was nothing more involved there. It was just friendship. We spoke just about every day via text, often on the phone. Like, words were said, phrases were said that I interpreted as love from a brother or from, like, just someone who I actually took in as family. And then for whatever reason, I got tossed away. Whatever reason, I just got thrown out, tossed away. And I've literally been ghosted for 3 years now. So, but it's funny because from that came that solid belief that you cannot rely on anybody else to tell you how good you are or how amazing you are, because that was his superpower. It was like every day he's like, oh my God, you go power woman, you're amazing, you're incredible, you're fantastic. And every day I'd race to my phone to get my message, to get that validation from this person. And all of a sudden one day it was gone, just like that, out the window, just no more. And I was told, like, no more private messages. You're not allowed to message me. You're not allowed to do this. And I was like, what do you do? Like, you've had all of this, like, someone pumping you up all this time, and all of a sudden this person is gone. And the only person left there is yourself. And if you don't have what it is you need to be able to keep yourself going, that is when you find it really fast, I can tell you.
Yeah, I think maybe it happened for a reason, for that very reason, because you need to stand up, on your own 2 feet. And
absolutely.
And not have someone else validate you for whatever.
Yes, but see, the thing is, Rose, so many people are so tied up in this, especially these days, in this validation, the like on their Facebook, you know, the
Mm.
positive comment is like, oh no, people don't like me on Instagram, or, you know, and all this validation, even down to the point where you've got the latest generation doing the pronouns and all the rest. It's all validation. It's all looking for significance.
Yeah.
And they're looking for it at the wrong place. They're looking for it outside instead of finding it
Inside.
within themselves.
Yeah. I think though too with this generation, I think maybe their parents didn't have that or don't have it.
No.
So they don't know how to pass it on to their kids, which is,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's important to notice is the fact that, you know, like, you know, every generation thinks that they were hard done by. Let's face it, come on.
Of
We all
course we
think
do,
we were
yeah.
hard done by, and we always want to do better for our kids. But what's being created now is, you know, people who don't have any self-worth, any self-belief, any self-confidence, and they're looking for everything from outside sources. Do you know, it's like to be validated, to feel like they are worth it, that they fit in, and that's what we've got to turn around. That's what we've got to change, because they're not going to get it. They're not going to get it to the level that they want it from outside. They've got to find it inside.
No, I agree with that's totally right. Totally right. You need to find it inside before you can find it outside.
That's right. I mean, you can get it from outside. You can find anyone that's going to say, hey, you're a power woman, you go for it. But like, you know, one day you're going to wake up and that person's going to be gone.
Yeah, well, I remember someone telling me, I don't know, when I was about 13 or 14, that said that if you don't love yourself, no one else will love you.
Absolutely.
You don't project the right vibe or whatever. Yeah. And so they'll just use you.
Yeah, that's right. And you know, the same thing was said to me, because I was in that boat as well. But one of the things that got me back when I'm 49 this year. I'm not afraid to admit my
You're
age.
a baby.
I look amazing for 49, I think. So I'm a baby,
do.
thank you. I'll take that. But one of the things that got me with that statement you've made is that, sure, it's all well and good for someone to stand there and say you've got to love yourself before others will love you. But if you don't know how to do that, you can't find it. These days, nobody has any excuses, because the information that they need and the skills that they need to obtain are available. There was no NLP courses when I was in my 20s. Oh, there was, but it wasn't heard about. No. Nobody knew about it. You know, it came out in the 70s, but I didn't hear about it until, 4 years ago.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of
Until
stuff that
it
was all too woo-woo for everybody.
Exactly, that's the thing. But see, today it's much more accepted to be able to put your hand up and say, do you know what? I don't know everything. I don't know everything. I don't have all the skills I need. So I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to get them.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. So this wonderful book of yours.
Yes.
Lockdown Took My Income.
Yes.
Where can people find it?
Okay, they can find it at my website, which is copywritersinternational.com. Okay, and if they look at the top banner, they'll see the little book sitting right there. Okay, it's only $7. It's a bargain. All right, but see, it's $7 to spend that will absolutely change your life. It's like, I know what I'm doing here. I've done it 13 times successfully. They've all been successful in their own right. And if you follow the steps that I've laid out so easily, and you take the action you need to take, you will find success. You will.
Perfectly perfect. And I see you're on LinkedIn. You've got 2 LinkedIn profiles and you're on Facebook. I'm going to have to stalk you now.
Oh, absolutely. Please do. I love a good stalk. It's fun.
Ooh.
Let's just cut that bit out, shall we? Because you never know what that might attract.
That's right.
We'll just cut that bit out.
No, we won't.
Okay. No, we won't. We'll rephrase that. I love being stalked by beautiful, lovely ladies like you.
Oh, thank you. Yes, same. And I've got to say, you do look good for 49.
Thank you.
All right, my dear. Thank you so much for chatting with me today. I really enjoyed that conversation. Awesome. And I'll put you in my little envelope to get an invitation back. How's that?
That sounds amazing.
All right. Well, thanks, Maini. And well, I'll chat to you again soon.
All right, good to talk to you. Thanks for having me.